Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Gregory Martin, aka the Super Producer. Here we review movies, TV series, discuss filmmaking, and entertainment news. If that's something that you're interested in, please don't forget to smash that like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to ring that bell. It keeps you notified whenever I post a new video, and it also helps the channel grow. And with that being said, let's just jump right into today's video. And today we're reviewing the Netflix series Challenger, the Final Flight. This series provides an in-depth look at the disaster that happened in 1986 when this Challenger space shuttle exploded mid-flight, killing all 7 crew members. This is a story I knew next to nothing about. I was familiar with the Columbia explosion, shuttle crash that happened in 2003, only because I was older when it happened. The Challenger happened when I was only 4 years old. My immediate reaction, looking at all the details, seeing all of the details and footage, that this was definitely a tragedy that could have easily been avoided. And it's such a sad story when human life is disregarded in such a way. Now, like I said, this series gives a real in-depth look at the Challenger disaster. From the human lives, like the human lives of the crew who were lost, it really fills out their story, where that they're just not names. They're just not names that we remember. It really gives us details into their lives. It really makes us care about these people. These brilliant and courageous individuals volunteered to sit upon a rocket to expand the human imagination. And we got to see and hear from the families, which is a tragedy on its own, because they witnessed their loved ones die in front of them, and there was nothing that they could do about it. If I remember correctly, the entire flight lasted just over a minute. So at the beginning, there's joy and jubilation and excitement that the rocket lifts off, and then 70 seconds later, that turns into anguish and despair. Like I cannot imagine that feeling, and I cannot imagine having to live with that memory for so long. And these people losing their lives were not the only thing that got to me watching this documentary. The other thing that really struck a nerve with me and really just made me like fidget in my seat was just the cowardice that led to the loss of these lives. Like, that's what really got me, that no one had the balls to call off this mission. Long story short, the single rocket boosters, the O-rings that keep them together, were malfunctioning in cold weather. And there were multiple instances where the engineers or whoever was testing these O-rings saw that the reliability of these O-rings got worse when the weather was colder. And for you to consistently see that and just kind of pass the buck and just for me, I felt like it was malicious the way that they operated, to see this problem, see that there's a potential risk, and wait until that doomsday scenario happens to really sound the alarm. Like, just the levels of incompetence really bothered me. The lack of remorse after 30 years. I felt like there were some people who were honestly contrite with their role in not preventing that space shuttle from taking off. But then there were other people who were higher up who made those decisions, and not even to admit that you were wrong and saying that you would take those chances again. And I forget the exact wording that one of the guys used, but basically they were sacrificed is pretty much what he said. Oh man, I would have been beating his ass. Like, I'm sorry, like that to me was just unacceptable. And I'm not sure, I haven't checked, and what it said to me is that these guys didn't serve any jail time. Like, there was no consequences for their actions. Yes, the government did an investigation, wherever that means, and yes, they found fault in NASA, but like I don't recall seeing anywhere where anyone served any jail time. No superiors, no engineers, no private contractor. Like no one. Like I know when I was in the military, I worked on aircrafts, and I know after everything I inspected, everything that every piece of equipment that I operated on or serviced, I had to put my signature. I had to sign off that I did this work. And if something happened where they found something faulty, something happened on the airplane, that they could come back and find the technician who worked on it. And there's some liability if you do it in a way that is criminal, like or negligent. There's some responsibility, and I just cannot believe that there was no responsibility that happened for these individuals. This was a really good series, a very interesting series, and something that I'm glad that I was able to discover and learn something from this series. I had no idea that this had even happened. And like I said in the opening, this was definitely a tragedy that could have been avoided. But if I can, take a silver lining out of this documentary, it's, how far we've come as, humans from, 30 years ago to now with just technology and the ability to reach space is more accessible than it's ever been. Tragedy aside, like that was the other component that was flowing through my mind the entire time watching this documentary. And it's wild to think 30 years ago that they wanted the space program to be so robust, man, that it was some undertaking. Because they first went to space in the late 60s, 70s is when man actually made it into outer space. And 10 years later they wanted it to be a more robust process. So it's wild to think that we're on the cusp of that, with companies with with Elon Musk and like SpaceX and other private sector companies kind of leading the way with the assistance of NASA to make this a possibility, to really to commercialize and make it more affordable for us humans to reach space and explore outside of our boundaries. I'm really looking forward to that day when that is a reality. And even for myself, I'm not really the adventurous type in terms of I will never do bungee jumping. Don't plan on jumping out of an airplane anytime soon, even though I have a lot of friends who've done it. But I think I would be very interested in taking a flight, a rocket up to to outer space or to low orbit atmosphere, just to experience that. For me, I think that's pretty cool. Well, that is my review, you guys. I really enjoyed this documentary. If you enjoy space, space travel, just anything that deals with NASA or stuff like that, this is definitely something to check out. A really tragic story, really sad story that makes you angry, that makes you sad, and also gives you hope that things have changed since that tragedy happened. But yeah, definitely check this out. I definitely recommend watching this. As I always say, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.